Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sim1 podcast, your home for all things F1 Sim Racing as well as top flight league racing. We have got a very special podcast to bring you today. My name is of course George Morgan. Alongside me though for the ride as always, Ryan Jacobs, Tino Naukarunen. Ryan, how are you?
Yeah, very, very good, George. Excited to have this guest on for our very first one as well. Couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, what a first guest indeed. Tino, how you doing? I know you've been in the sun today. You're looking a little bit red, not totally burnt though, which is good to see.
Yeah, 4 days in cottage, all good. And
You're feeling relaxed. You're feeling
yeah, I
relaxed,
mean, and what a nice episode we're gonna have with special quest.
yeah, serious guest and a special quest. Yeah, no, it's great. We're on a mission here today, folks, because we have brought in someone who needs no introduction, certainly after what we've seen over the last few years, especially after what we witnessed this year. The first Welsh champion in F1 Sim Racing. I'm just going to make sure we hammer the word and underscore Welsh for the benefits of all the Welsh viewers who are at home. We haven't celebrated anything since Tom Price was in Formula One back in 1970, but we have got the one, the only, Otis Lawrence, 2026 world champion. Otis, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing amazing. I hope you're all doing as well. Thank you for having me on this podcast. It's great to be on you. Appreciate it all. It's going to be a cool talk, I believe. Yeah, it's good to see you guys, and I hope you're all doing well.
Yeah, well, please, first and foremost, folks, leave a like and subscribe. We have got the man, the current reigning champion, with us now, and what a year it's been, Otis. I want to kickstart, of course, we will be delving back into your roots in racing, and then also perhaps filtering through your growth in sim racing as well, talking about some of the league stuff. I know Ryan wants to touch on the Xbox stuff immensely. Tino, with all his experience, I'm sure you'd like to weigh in with some stuff at the same time. But I just want to ask you, mate, I mean, it's been a lifelong ambition, near enough, of yours to reach this point. And I just want to ask first and foremost, how does it feel to be world champion?
It's a massive relief. That's actually a great feeling, to be honest. Like, you know, after so much hours and so much preparation put into driving, and literally you have no life around F1 other than just driving. You sacrifice so much. It's just such an amazing feeling. And to be honest, the best feeling about winning a championship is a lot of people that talked a lot of rubbish about me throughout the years, especially the days when I just joined PC. A lot of people were talking lots of just rubbish about me throughout the years. And it finally feels good to just tell those people to shut up. And to be honest, it just feels amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a deserved title, and I certainly got the feeling that it was almost destiny in a way, that it was written in the stars. I just want to ask you, mate, where did I suppose the first essence of racing come into your life? Where did the journey ultimately begin?
Well, I was very young. My dad obviously liked a lot of Formula One, and obviously he has his sim rig as well. So I started off, of course, playing the F1 games when I was very young. My dad got me in his sim rig about when I was like 5, 6 years old. He always was into F1, and he put me in the sim rig, and I was doing pretty decently, to be fair. He had to obviously have the pedals, touch the pedals, because I couldn't reach the pedals when I was younger. So yeah, he always got me into sim racing. He was telling me the racing lines, etc. And then I got my first F1 game in 2014. It's actually quite a while ago. I was playing it just casually, and I just enjoyed the games. I played a lot of like games like Forza and all this kind of games, all these racing games, and I just enjoyed them when I was growing up. And I came up, I came to like 2021 Christmas time. I had a Fanatec wheel. Before that, I had a Logitech wheel in 2018, which I was still treating it casually. But then, as soon as 21 start of 22 came, I started doing it a bit more competitively because I knew I had good pace. And then it just went up from there, to be honest. Did league racing, top level in Xbox, top level in PC, and then to esports.
We're probably lucky to have you then, because let's be honest, 2014 wasn't the best release that they ever had. I must say, I think we probably lost quite a few players after that. I don't know what you make of that, Ryan.
Yeah, no, I think it was a tough time, but I found it really interesting that your dad was the one that got you into it, because a lot of people just generally just play the F1 game because of their parents actually just love for the F1 world, but never actually that they play the game as well. So tell me how much, like, in a way of an inspiration your dad was, obviously, because him having his own sim, is pretty, rare, because I don't know many people that had their own parents, who would have a sim and playing it themselves and giving you that help and advice.
Yeah, it's super cool. He did everything for me, which I'm very thankful for. But he was always into racing. He always liked driving and stuff. I think he was playing like the old Gran Turismos back in like the early 2000s. So he was really into driving a lot back in the day, and he got his first wheel like before I was born, I think, or just after I was born. He obviously was playing iRacing a lot in like 2009, and he really got me into it. And it's nice to have someone who can you can speak about driving. Um, Sometimes when I have bad races, he's like, "Why did you do this? Why did you do that?" But yeah, it's super cool to have someone who likes racing as well.
Yeah, I mean, Tino, I want to get your take on this because, I mean, Otis strikes me as a rare breed that we have, or should we say, a modern breed of driver that we have in the sim racing world, where they've actually grown up in sim racing. I mean, I would argue back when you were racing from say 2017, 18, 19 at the top flight.
Even earlier.
Well, yeah, even earlier than that. I mean, you're essentially the first in your say family that would have picked it up or something like that, but nowadays we've got, for example, Otis, whose father was already ingrained in sim racing, so was thrusted straight into that world from a young age.
Yeah, I mean, when I was Otis age and starting F1 games and slash racing games, I mean, there was nothing about that. Like, I mean, I only got it from the F1, real F1, and that's then. I mean, now it's funny to see the old games quality, like 2011, which I started league racing in when I was 11 years old, and
They were
they're
great,
quite,
though.
they are quite. I mean, the games are quite bad now. Nowadays,
I don't know.
standard, but,
14
I
was
mean,
a bit touch and go.
yeah, but I mean, the point is like, I mean, we started league racing back then, and I was in top Finnish like league and winning races. So I mean, that was basically the start of esports, but obviously many years until the money was involved. But yeah, I mean, crazy now that what age 17, 18, like Otis is, that they actually like watch the esports from very young age, and actually like probably watch it like, oh damn, I want to do that as well when I'm like bit older. I mean,
Well, he's done it now.
yeah.
Yeah.
What next? What next? Real racing?
Yeah, well, you never know. You never know. We've seen quite a few actually go that. I mean, take us back, Otis, to the point where teams started taking note. I mean, I know that Ryan will want to weigh in on this, but obviously your Xbox days, then obviously lit things up. You started taking part in league racing. FRA put faith in you to join their team, and obviously one of the top teams on Xbox without question. Just talk us through those years.
It was quite an enjoyable few years, to be fair. But I started getting into notice from F1 teams around when I joined Veloce,
Yeah.
around August 2022. So
How
I
old were
was
you back then?
I was like 14, 15 at the
Okay.
time. I think I was 14 at the time.
Wow.
Tino, you stunned.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like 20 back then. I had obviously Alfa Romeo, which I was in Alfa Romeo on Xbox at the time, because they thought that the build of the game was on the Xbox, like Xbox kind of build of the game.
Uh.
But yeah, I joined then, and then after that, McLaren, which was for my development years then.
Yeah. How long were you at Alpha then for? For between that and the move to McLaren, because I always associated you with McLaren because that was I suppose your public.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
signature.
good question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it out now, actually. I joined on September the 1st.
September the
That's the
1st,
time
right.
I joined. That was 2022. I
Right.
joined Alfa Romeo on September the 1st. And then I think I left around probably like start of the year, I think, next year.
What was
So
the
it's a
reason?
short-term kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. What was the
Yeah.
reason for the move?
I know at the time it was like apparently the build of the game. So we have the esports build of the game. Apparently it was based off the Xbox build,
Right.
which I don't understand how that works because they should be coded the exact same. But yeah, I moved. They just decided to sign me because I was part of the Xbox thing, and Shimon Kulak, one of the engineers who was at Alpine, he moved to Williams throughout the season. He tried hard to get me in the team, and that's how I joined Veloce. Really, I had really good pace when I was young, and they saw potential in me. So yeah.
I gotta ask then, what was that experience like then? Because you were in FRA for quite a while, at that point, working alongside Thomas as well, and you had a really good managerial team there as well at that point. And tell me what it was like shifting from FRA to Alfa Romeo then. What was that experience like? Just to see that level maybe of difference of maturity maybe, or just expectation as well.
To be honest, it wasn't as big as I expected it. To be honest, I
Mm.
feel like back then, esports wasn't as serious as it is now. So it was a bit more like community. Like you didn't really, your engineers didn't have too much data.
Yeah.
You did most of the strategy yourselves back then, to be honest, on 22. And it was a bit more serious, of course, than FRA. It was obviously FRA was just a community team, but like if you compare, it's a much bigger difference from 22 esports to now esports, data wise, everything. It's just so much more complex.
Yeah, and I just want to ask you then about that championship that you competed on, because you started to appear on F1 2021, like you mentioned, midway through. I'd say you really started to shine through, and that is when like you were started to be thrown into the SRC. I think that was your first proper team championship, if I'm not wrong in saying, where it was like the best of the best going at it, and you were competing obviously against me and my team in WR at the time, and that was quite a fierce rivalry. Back then, and I just wanted you to tell me about that experience off that championship and what it really did for you in those early days, working with Thomas as well, and going against Alfie, Wilson as well, and the whole WR team. Because that it's not to shoot my own ego here, but it was a different time back then, and Xbox was so competitive. And what did that do for you? Because I remember there was a bit of criticism of your early days. You liked to burn the battery a bit too much, and you start to you start to learn that a little bit more when you start to compete against the likes of myself and Thomas as well, Alfie, everybody on Xbox really.
Yeah, those days are really important, and I just remember you were very toxic, Ryan, in those chats. On his,
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
Ryan was very toxic. I remember. A lot of the WR guys are very toxic, but it was all fun anyway, all fun and games. We had to try and get in each other's minds back then. So
Clip
That
that,
was it.
everybody. Clip that.
No, I mean those days were so good. They were so fun. I miss them so much because it was it was chill, and those games were a lot more enjoyable than they are now, and it was just fun. And obviously, I was driving with Thomas, and Thomas was a really nice guy. He was really quick as well, and we were just pushing each other. And then the thing with those days as well, especially, is that you could just there was no problem with doing sessions together with other teams.
Yes, yeah.
Like you just drive, everyone just be doing the same sessions. You just see who's got the quickest PB. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
It was just fun. But yeah, they were super crucial days. I had to learn a lot, obviously, with the batteries and stuff. I was burning a lot of my battery, but the reason I got that habit was actually because of career mode. I was doing a lot of career mode, and I couldn't handle the AI beating me on 110. So I was like burning my battery lap one to just take them out. And I think that's where my racecraft came from, to be honest. But
Hey, it worked though.
yeah,
It worked. And
exactly.
I just quickly got to ask as well, just about that experience of it changing. Like when you learn, oh God, I can't just burn the battery. I've got to be a little bit smarter here because these guys are actually keeping up with me. They are aren't just getting dropped off. And I also got to add about that that time back then. I think everybody was so much more chill because I remember sharing setups with Thomas, which you wouldn't do now.
Yeah.
And he would just dunk a second on me or whatever. And that was when I was at my best. And I was like, how have you gained another 2 tenths on me with just my setup? And I thought, he had a better setup than me and everything. And I was just got to add to that. It was just a really good time. But yeah, just take me through that experience of just learning that period where you're like, oh, right, I've got to change how I drive. And I know a lot of people once went on to 22. A lot of people kind of did leave as well. Like I shifted off. I think a few other Xbox guys. I think Alfie shifted off as well. Thomas wasn't too far away. I think he went off to PC as well. So you kind of just took that lead then on Xbox in that sense on that game.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's a hard question, the experience. Like, to be honest, it just came to me. Like, it wasn't like I needed to think about learning anything. It just, the more I drove, the more I kind of knew what to do with the battery and stuff. I just needed a few, and especially like a lot of the people I was racing with have raced for a while, and
Yep.
I just came into the scene and I was just driving top level pretty much. So obviously I needed a bit to learn, and then to be honest, as soon as I got more experience, I got a little bit better with that area, and it just went up from there.
Well, I mean, I want to talk a little bit about the shift from Xbox then onto PC, because this is when I had the pleasure of your company on PCF1 broadcasts, Otis. And if I'm not mistaken, season 33 was the season in PSGL, and you were in the Red Bull, if I remember correctly. And it was Paul Ricard where you really announced yourself on the scene with your first PSGL PCF1 win. Is that correct? Are my facts right? Yeah. Take us back to that moment, mate, because obviously it's one thing to get to the point where you're competitive on Xbox, but when all of a sudden you're taking on your Jarno Opmeers, your Danny Berejnays, even your Brendan Lees when he was making sporadic appearances, Lucas Blakely, for example, who was champion in 2022 at the same time. That must have been a really special moment to then find yourself, joining PSGL, being in the top division, and essentially taking on an F1 Sim Racing World Championship grid.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very hard transition, of course, going from Xbox to PC. I was driving against the best in the world at that point, and obviously the competition on Xbox kind of dipped a little bit while I was on Xbox. So, obviously, lots of people were saying that I was going to be F2 pace, and
how wrong they were.
Shush, like.
I'd imagine that's what made Paul Ricard feel great, though, right? That you were,
exactly
taking that big win.
Yeah, like when I won in Paul Ricard, of course, I had a little bit of an iffy start to my PC campaign. Obviously, like that's me looking at it now, but because everyone expected me to be at the front end all the time. But I was just enjoying it, to be honest. It was a really fun time coming onto PC at first because obviously I could just drive and just enjoy it against the top guys and learn a lot. Obviously, I wasn't in esports for like 2 years at that point, so I just didn't even need to put pressure on myself. And yeah, it was a great feeling to win Paul Ricard. Obviously, I had my old engineer Axel with me, who then became my engineer who won
at
the
Aston,
first race in esports. And it was amazing to win that race because I think I won by 3 seconds, and it was such an amazing feeling, especially at the top level. And
did you celebrate hard
cool
for that one? Or?
Oh yeah, there's a clip on my YouTube where I come across a final corner, I'm just screaming, completely screaming. My dad even runs in as well.
So I think I've seen it actually.
Yeah, you probably have. Have.
I mean, Tino, you've raced in the top tier. I remember back in season 27, you were part of the first group that came in and raced in PCF1 in PSGL. I mean, it's no picnic, is it?
No, I mean everyone there can drive, and like you can't have off lapping qualifying and then you're out. Basically, it's just the competition there is so crazy, and even I mean in Otis season it was even higher. I think basically the whole grid was like previous year's eSport drivers, and like it's back in my time it was still a few drivers in esports and then community drivers mostly, but I mean it was a bit different back then, but still same format.
Yeah, because back then I suppose Freddie Rasmussen wasn't committing to a full season. He might do the odd race, but he started taking it more seriously as we moved into the realms of season 33. And so you essentially, Otis, were taking on F1 Sim Racing grids. Was the interest in you at this point in time starting to mount as we made our way through? Because obviously you weren't on the Sim Racing World Championship grid at that time. Appreciate you were with Veloce, but were there other teams knocking on the door asking about your availability?
When I first, well, like you mean like this is my like just before esports, my
Yeah,
first season.
as you broke into PSGL, PCF1, because generally if you do get to that level, you tend to start, I suppose, attracting the attention of certain individuals, certain
Yeah.
organisations.
So of course I had McLaren that wanted me, and then I feel like there was probably a few other teams, but were stuck with Veloce on a Veloce contract, so I couldn't really leave. So I was just hoping Veloce put me in the team, and yeah, McLaren obviously had interest, and all of a sudden they didn't, and then I joined Aston.
What was the reason behind the McLaren falling through the arrangement with them? Was there a catalyst? Was it where they were going to position you as a driver? Were you not happy with the plan, or did they have other ideas? What happened?
I'm not too sure, to be honest. They obviously wanted to get somebody else. I feel like the team was not talking very nicely of me at the time. So yeah, they said to me they're gonna get somebody else, and yeah, they got Alfie at the end to replace me. And he was obviously after such an amazing first season with Haas, so I don't blame them, to be honest. He had an amazing season. Of course, to get a rookie is quite risky, as always. So, yeah, to be honest, I made my right decisions anyway. I'm happy how my path has went, because I think it would have been worse if I went the other route.
Did that motivate you then, Otis, even more? To, like,
I was
fuel
just
you
about to
even
ask
more?
that.
Yeah, like
Spot
that's,
on.
I could just imagine, like, as a driver, when you're like, Alfie is a unbelievable driver, but yourself knowing like I'm better than him, like in your head, because you have to have that as a driver. That must have just fueled you even more to prove them wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I really, it didn't obviously get on my nerves, but of course it fueled me. Of course I know this is just a sim racing world, and at the end of the day, we're just trying to get the best team. Every team trying to get the best team for themselves, and to us, I just had to do my talking on the track, to be honest. And that's exactly what I did the next season, and yeah, it's gone on to win me a title.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, though, at Aston, you broke ground in a phenomenal manner as well, though, Otis. I mean, we look at Saudi Arabia. I mean, that first win in the arena of all places. We went to Sweden. Obviously, it was just before. It was the year after I was obviously commentating in Sweden for the first time. You arrived in the season 2025, and you were in the Aston. Just talk us through that first year of being on the main stage, because it's one thing to race online, in the biggest league in the world in PSGL, but when you ascend then to race in the Top Flight Championship, the biggest championship in sim racing, under the F1 banner, live on an F1 broadcast, what was the feeling? What was the atmosphere like in amongst your own family? Because I can imagine Mr. Lawrence was probably really excited about that.
Yeah, so I'll talk just before the season happened. I obviously had a lot of anxiety going into it, because of course, a lot of drivers were saying how different it is to the actual, obviously, league racing and stuff. And, obviously, I was preparing hard for this esports season, and I just remember going into my first qualifying session, and the nerves were really high. I think I wouldn't say it's the most nervous I've been, but it's definitely the most nervous I was last year during the season. And yeah, I went into that quality session with super high nerves, and then all of a sudden, after I did my first lap in Q1, or should I say my second lap in Q1, and I put it P1 by like nearly a tenth, at that point, I just had so much confidence, because everyone was saying it was going to be such a difference. And then I turned up to the qualifying, and to be honest, it felt the same as league racing. Just obviously you practice a lot harder, and it really gave me a lot of confidence throughout that qualifying session.
Is that what gave you the validation? Essentially, you felt that you belonged at that point.
Yeah, exactly. I felt really good at that point, and yeah, it just went up from there, and I just felt good all season, all through the event. Every event, I felt nice, and I really proved myself wrong, which I was really pleased about, and it just gave me it relaxed me a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I just got to ask then as well, like, imagine like you finished 5th in that season overall. Like for a rookie, that is really, really impressive. And
Mm.
for when you went into your first season, then did you have a goal in mind? I know obviously the ultimate goal to want to win the championship, but maybe a more realistic one was it aiming to finish in that top 5 area just to settle in and just get used to that environment, traveling, competing with people, getting those little distractions with people walking just out the corner of your eye, for example. And you got 2 wins as well and a podium in Mexico. So just tell me through that season and like finishing 5th and just your expectations, and did they really surpass them in some aspects?
So obviously I went into the season expecting to win the championship. That was my only goal and my only expectation. But of course I knew like it's only my first season, that I just need to just take it easy, of course. So it was a bit of it was a bit of obviously expectation that I want to win, but I
Yeah.
also didn't put too much pressure on myself to try and win. And yeah, it worked all season. Of course, the entire Aston team was brand new for that year, except from Fab, I think. And of course, we made a lot of mistakes, me as a driver and us as a team at the time. But you saw this season. I know I'm meant to talk about last season, but we saw this season with Aston that they were pretty solid on strategies and flawless.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was just an amazing learning season, to be honest. And yeah, I was happy that I went with them.
Yeah, a bit outside the scope, but I wanted to ask, did Ruben Pedreño surprise you this season?
Yeah, he did an amazing job. I was super. To be honest, I was really happy this year that Aston did amazing. I was expecting a little bit less from them, to be honest, but they did an amazing job. I was super happy to see them doing well because they were the team that brought me up from the start, and they were the team that got me in esports. So I couldn't wish anything but the best for them, and it was amazing to see. I think Ruben got 3 podiums this year, so he's definitely one to watch for the future.
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, plenty more to come. Of course, this is a lovely segue then to the championship winning season. We can now talk about the results, making our way through this year's campaign. And obviously, Otis heading to DreamHack, the NEC. I mean, what a location to kickstart a championship in front of, thousands of people that were in attendance for this big gaming convention. It was an appropriate setting, I think, for the F1 Sim Racing World Championship. And you came into the first race at China, managed to achieve a top 10 at the very least. Obviously, Freddie had the best start going, but, it didn't take you long to fire on all cylinders. You arrived straight away to Suzuka, Japan, and right in the heat of battle, took a vital and impressive victory. And that must have felt amazing.
Yeah, firstly, I would say it was really nice to meet you, George, as well, and Ryan.
Oh.
I don't think Tino, I don't think you were there, Tino, but
No.
No.
yeah, it was amazing to meet a lot of people that I didn't meet from the previous year, especially a lot of people from the crowd. It was really nice to see a lot of these people that I've obviously raced with and people commentated me over and etc. But yeah, after round one, I definitely it was just, to be honest, this whole season was just like an up and down slope of mentality. Like I was thinking I won it or I'm thinking I lost it. And after the first round, when I saw Red Bull just flying with 3 cars at the top, to be honest, at that point I thought maybe this is gonna be a really hard season. And the next day when I won in Japan was such an amazing feeling because I could see like they weren't perfect either, and everyone feels the pressure just as much as I do. So it was an amazing feeling to bounce back.
Yeah.
I've just got to ask then quickly about that win. It wasn't just you that felt the pressure or lifted off your shoulders, because I was in the crowd. I saw that day, and your whole team came flooding in, didn't they? And I think your dad also went under the barrier, and you all started like jumping, and it was really nice to see, and like everybody was going crazy. And tell me that feeling for the first time, because obviously you hear these people in your ear usually. You're not at the also well at the factory, but having that feeling of actually being able to celebrate with these people in person after all the hard work, the amount of hours everybody's put in. Tell me through that first feeling crossing the line with Alpine and winning that race.
Felt amazing, actually. Like, especially how much how much work we put as a team. And as I say in interviews in esports, I think we're the best team because we're the most passionate team on the grid. We're not just robots. We don't just do nothing after we win. I feel like every time we win, we show it in our celebrations, and it just shows it's all that hard work we put as a team, and it was just an amazing feeling, of course, and. I feel like every team I've been in, we've all been shouting and screaming. So maybe I'm just bringing that passion in. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I look at, for instance, F1 Sim Racing. I think it could really take a lot from what's going on in professional darts, in a way, with walkouts, things like that, the drama and everything. Because I did feel that sort of PDC, darts vibe. When the drivers were going at it. Of course, I remember Jarno Opmeer was shouting at you from the other side as well in your direction, which I noticed in commentary. It certainly looked like he was looking at you, pointing in your direction. Whether there was any truth in that, I'm not quite sure, but you can elaborate. But I mean, listen, do you think that it truly belongs in a crowd setting, Otis, being on a stage in front of thousands of people that have bought tickets to come and watch? Do you think that's the future?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely the future. I think it's such an amazing thing to have a crowd. I think when I won in Japan, I think that was probably the most packed day because it was a Saturday.
Yeah.
And when I got out my rig, I fully I was shouting at the crowd, and yeah, it was just so cool because you can't really express yourself like that in the studio, because when you're in a studio, everyone gets kind of angry at you if you start shouting.
Yeah.
And it was such an amazing feeling just be able to shout without anyone having like any problem with it. And yeah, it was just so cool. We needed every event.
Yeah. I mean, just to talk a little bit, obviously I alluded to the Jarno Opmeer moment. Were you feeling the rivalry with Red Bull at this point? Was it clear that battle lines were drawn after the first event?
Oh yeah, 100%. Of course, you say about the Yano pointing thing, but like I don't take that personal, even if it is at me. He's just a competitor at the end of the day. The reason why he's a champion is because he's that ruthless,
Yeah.
and you got nothing but respect for that. It's the same after like Spain when I started shouting at Yano. I never take it personal. I just feel like you're insecure if you take it personal. Because at the end of the day, it's only a sim racing competition. We're all competing for high prize money and high, obviously, just egos, and we're obviously trying to win a championship at the end of the day. So, yeah, there's no point taking it personal, but obviously we all want to win, so we're going to get competitive at times.
So that's a Sim1 exclusive. That's a Sim1 exclusive. We can confirm there was clapping backwards and forwards between Jarno and Otis. I love that.
Yeah, it's just because that was just because of the Xbox days that was coming out, from our rivalry back then, it just spills over into person. But yeah, because I remember that, was it the Bahrain race, I'm pretty sure, where you got out your seat as well and started clapping behind, and then the interviewee was saying, "Oh, you were clapping at Jarno's performance." I was like, "No, he's not. No, he's not. He's not clapping at. He's not clapping at Jarno. He was clapping at Ismail."
Yeah, because it was about the move at turn one, right?
I mean, yeah, it was, but to be honest, that whole lap was a bit toast for me, to be honest. Like, I just dived him through turn 10, and then I mean, to be honest, I'm not surprised that he dived me at turn 1 after what happened.
But that was like this first sign though of you two, because you've had history before in the past. I think you can remember back to Qatar, if I can remember that one, where you two first had your little altercation. But like you mentioned, it's never to be taken personal. It's heat of the moment stuff between you two, and you forget about it. And I don't think you expected, obviously I'm jumping a bit far into the season now, to him being your title rival at the end. And you obviously could have kept that in the back of your head, what happened at Bahrain where he torpedoed you into turn 1, but you raced fair and clean in those final events. And just take me through that rivalry that you've had with Ismail, because that has been something that's just, he's always been there, and he's going to be there for many more seasons to come, it feels like.
Yeah, he's an amazing driver, amazing guy in real life, and an amazing person. He's always a really nice guy. He's really real. He's not fake. Someone you can really speak to. But yeah, we had obviously an intense rivalry back in the day before we were both in esports. And of course, we were just young. I was really young at the time as well. And we, of course, we take things personal back then. But to be honest, the older I've got, of course, I'm not old, but the older I've got, I've just kind of learned that, just racing at the end of the day. And you can't really judge people off just racing because you don't know them personally at all. So yeah, the moment I started realizing that, me and Ismail started obviously being a lot more chill with each other. Obviously, we didn't really like each other too much when we were taking each other out, but Ismail's such a really nice guy now, and I have a lot of respect for him. He's an amazing competitor, and to be honest, I didn't expect Ismail to be in the championship fight this year.
No,
Actually,
no one expected.
especially going into the final event. The guy just absolutely peaked the final event, which is big props to him. But
Do you think Barry's
know.
influence had something to do with that?
Oh yeah, I think so. I feel like obviously Barry helped him a lot in the last event, and especially throughout the season. Of course, he's an amazing teammate, Barry. I'd imagine. So yeah, he's a really quick guy. He always puts his ego aside at times as well, which is amazing. And yeah, I think he's a great role model for Ismail as well. And he obviously helped Ismail a lot during the final event. So he's a great driver to be with as well.
Yeah,
I got to ask quickly, sorry, as well.
No,
like,
go, Ryan. Go.
you know that Brazil race as well.
Mhm.
After in the interview, you both had to do the interview together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I could just tell the visible frustration that you just in your head. I could tell you just wanted to punch him after that. After what he was doing. Tell me what you were feeling lap after lap to stuck Barry.
Furious.
Like,
Furious.
Oh yeah. Like of course, it was very frustrating. I did not want to punch him, by the way. I did not want to do it. I would never, I'd never
It's all
do
right.
that to
You can
Barry.
tell us. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
No,
You're in a
actually,
safe space.
because of course, Barry's obviously going to try and help his teammate. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's
You do the same for
it's
Danny
obviously-
Berejne, right?
Maybe I don't know. I want. I'd make sure I'm not in that position in the first place, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he's obviously trying to help Ismail, and of course, I'm not going to be angry at him because I personally like Barry a lot. So yeah, I was just frustrated at the racing, not personally, remember, but yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. You can't expect everything to go your way all the time. So
Yeah. Was there an essence of concern that sort of lingered around you, Otis? I mean, especially after the gap in victories, because obviously Japan was the first one. There was a little bit of a gap, a 3-race gap, then between your next one at Britain, which then eventually came round. Do you think that was there some worries or some concerns that perhaps points weren't being accrued as vastly or as rapid as you would have liked, and then add to that Ismail's incredible run in that final event? Was there ever some doubt that flickered in towards the end?
well, to be honest, I was doubting through the whole Abu Dhabi race. To be honest,
Really?
there was honestly, to be honest, throughout the whole season, didn't really doubt too much. I knew I have the confidence in myself that I could win, and I knew if you can't win every single race, and especially in the final event where the pressure's on, I think I could have definitely went for wins, but obviously I didn't want to risk too much going for these wins, and obviously I'm got a 20-something point lead going into the final race, or 17-point lead, and there was just no point taking too much risk ever, and I think maybe I was a little bit too cautious sometimes, but got me a championship at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
I was just fine.
I think this is something what we have the clip of. What I'm leaning on like when you were then second stint, just standing duck there, and the alternate strategy guys are just coming past you, and you have to like think like, oh damn, like is this P5 gonna be enough now?
Yeah.
That must be a hell for you.
Yeah, it was tough because especially when I got passed by Nico on lap 27 at Abu Dhabi. To be honest, I think you can see I think it shows my camera at the bottom as well. I was kind of, I don't even know what I was thinking, to be honest. I just thought, my world fell apart nearly, to be honest.
Good Lord.
It was really bad feeling. But then I saw Barry in front, and it was like that glimmer of hope all of a sudden came back. And yeah, overtaking him to turn one. was a crucial moment, and
Mm.
yeah.
How
Were
active
you
were the?
surprised by Barry's strategy that day, by the way? Because he obviously qualified right next to you,
Yeah.
and he went really early. Was that, in some sense, were you always going to stick to your strategy no matter what? And did you think Barry and Ferrari were trying to throw you off a little bit by going so early? Because lap 9, I think it was, or 8. That's like the earliest you could possibly go just to be able to make it to the end. And like, was he trying to maybe in your mind trigger that reaction from you so you could have bad tyres and maybe fall apart towards the end? Or were you always so confident with your team, your strategy, that no matter what, you were sticking to that lap that you were going to pit and nothing was ever going to change?
Well, I think it was actually super lucky that Barry overtook me on the first or the second lap, because
Mm.
when you're in front of Barry, Barry will always pit the same lap as you. And when you're behind Barry, Barry doesn't know what lap I'll pit. And because of the undercut is so big at Abu Dhabi, if I box one lap before Barry, I'm probably outside the DRS and I can do my own pace for a bit. And I felt like Barry most likely thought I was going to go quite early and pit. And because I was behind him, obviously you can't really react very well when
Yes.
someone's behind you. You can't just pit if you see the guy behind pitting, because you probably on the like past the pit entry anyway. So it was very lucky actually. I think Barry overtook me in the first stint, because he definitely, if I boxed the same lap, well, if he was behind me, he would have definitely boxed the same lap as me and tried causing more havoc. I feel like.
How active were your guys on the radio, just sort of communicating? Because obviously there was the penalty swing, wasn't there, that we had through the course of that final stint. So were they actively sort of giving you insight as to where that penalty would have led? Obviously it wasn't just yourself. Ishmael was on the wrong end of it as well. Was there a deep level of communication over that, the second half of the stint in Abu Dhabi, Otis?
Yeah, there was a lot of communication, especially when Ismail dived me through the double left. I knew that I was under investigation. And yeah, on the last lap, I got told that I had a 1 second penalty
Yeah.
in the last sector.
Can you tell us what your
And
reply was?
I didn't. I just like seriously. I think I know there's a recording somewhere. I know one of our management recorded it, but I don't have the footage yet. But I'll try and find it what I said. But I was honestly, I just couldn't believe it. I was so confused at the same time because I saw people behind on had penalties as well. So I knew at that point that it wasn't over. Because I didn't know if Aston could get their penalty removed or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was stressful. I'll tell you, I don't want to experience that last race ever again.
No, I can't
I can
imagine you do.
What a swing that would have been if your old team took your title away.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
Just tell me as well, Otis, then about competing with Red Bull this season, because with Freddie and Jarno coming at you from all angles, it must have been pretty tough. And when Freddie had that start that he did at China and at Japan as well, you thought it was going to be you, Jarno, and and Freddie going at it for the title. And then towards maybe on event 3 and event 4, Freddie just had some maybe ups and downs in the season. And did that sort of surprise you in some sense? Because Freddie usually is somebody who's fighting for wins all the time, but then we're seeing like Q2, like no Q3 appearances, for example. Yourself, you rarely were out in Q3 because you always made it through. I think it was only in the final event. I think you didn't make it into Q3. I think maybe it was once in event 3 as well. But tell me your qualifying performances, how crucial they were as well as competing against Freddie and Jarno, and what that was really like for you. Because, when Red Bull are coming at you, especially that Saudi Arabia race as well, that springs to mind with Jarno doing that massive alternate strategy as well.
Yeah, it was quite an interesting season, to be honest, because it was I was always thinking Red Bull were going to be the main people to fight against, especially in the drivers. They were obviously at the end with the constructors, but Ferrari were out of nowhere, out of the blue, to be honest, in the last 2 events. They just came out of nowhere and they were just really quick, especially Ismail in the final event. But that's how it goes sometimes in sim racing. It's just some randomness always happens. Like you just never know what's going to happen in esports. And that's why as well. Like in the interview, I think when I was out in Q2 in Mexico, I just said, it's not over because anything can happen during these races. Even if when I got pole in Brazil, I was pretty confident I could win the championship, but I didn't at the end. And I said to myself, I just got to stay focused at all times because absolutely anything can happen in this championship. Red Bull looked like they pretty easily got it after event two. Well, after Jeddah, should I say, in event two. And after the end of event two, they clearly didn't, and it was quite a fight towards the end, and no one knew Ferrari were going to be in it as well.
Well, in the end, it led to one of the closest finishes we've seen ever in the history of the F1 Sim Racing World Championship. I mean, you managed to scoop a miraculous 5th place in that last race after all that was thrown at you. I think it was a 2-point gap at the end of the season between yourself and Ishmael, which was absolutely extraordinary, and that was after he managed to clinch the race victory at Abu Dhabi. But that wasn't the whole story, though, Otis, because then we had a long, lengthy process of trying to understand how these stewards' results were going to pan out. Obviously with the decisions that they were making, the deliberation went on, I think, for nearly an hour, maybe over. I mean, what was it like in the arena at that point? Just what was the tension like as you were waiting to hear if you were champion or not?
Well, to be honest, I felt a lot of nerves during the race, a lot more nerves during the race, and when it was over, it was a bit more. Obviously, it was still a nerve-wracking time, but obviously, it wasn't as near as nervous, to be honest, as I was during the race. So it was a bit. To be honest, I was relaxing a little bit. I think you saw from Isma's as well. Isma's POV, he was quite relaxed during it as well, because obviously we just came after one of the most nerve-wracking races, probably both of our lives. So yeah, it was. Of course, I had a little bit of a high heartbeat. When I was waiting for the decision, but I knew I think I was more likely to win it, to be fair, after the race. I feel like I was, because when I heard from Aston they couldn't get the penalty removed, I was pretty sure that I was going to win it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, that's what happened in the end. You did manage to clinch your world title. Did you feel that this is, you've arrived at this journey and it's basically mission accomplished after all of this, especially when you tell us your story from back when you first started, your father putting you in the sim rig for the first time, you then cultivating, your performances on 2014, eventually finding league racing, then later on. Do you feel like you've accomplished your dream at this stage now that you've lifted that title?
Yeah, absolutely. I have accomplished it, but I want to win even more now. There's another goal after this one.
What's the goal?
It's just to win even more. I want to win. I want to become the best of all time in F1 esports, and I want to win as many titles as I can, and that will keep me motivated for the next few years.
So the ambition is to sink Jarno's record of 3 at the moment, and then supersede that, effectively try and do a Schumacher, put 7 on the board, like Hamilton as well.
I will see. Yeah, I'll try that, of course. But I'm happy with what I've got right now. Anyway, to be honest, I know for the next few seasons that the pressure won't be any higher than it was this season. So, yeah, it feels good at the moment. So I'm just enjoying it as well.
Yeah,
and I've also got to ask as well about the Alpine. Going to the garage the other day, I saw that on your Instagram. With the number in gold on the car. Tell me how that felt, seeing that in person, and how good have Alpine been for you and the rest of the team, just making you feel like, thank you for all the hard work and stuff, showcasing that they cared just as much as you did for this championship.
Yeah, it's really good to have a team that backs you like that, especially when I was with Josh, I think. Josh and Danny going into the factory because we were doing a bit of testing with a company we were with, and we were walking through the Alpine factory, and the first thing we saw at the reception was our car, and I was like, guys, that's our car. I was like, our car. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, my number's in gold and everything, and it was a surreal feeling, to be honest.
Yeah. The
But,
context that is next to 2006, where Fernando Alonso's winning championship, winning Renault.
Yeah, that's huge.
And And it was so cool because, like, obviously, Alpine, I think we're the most committed team this year. We brought
Yeah.
a whole F1 car to DreamHack.
Yeah.
And, this just shows how good our team is because Harvey is, I don't know how he does it, to be honest. I don't know how he gets people to agree with this, but he's an amazing guy.
He's
The
a
whole team at
maestro,
Alpine's
isn't he?
amazing. Yeah,
I mean,
amazing people.
I have to ask about this because I think it was previous episode or before that we spoke about engineers, and
Mhm.
you probably have the most interesting race engineer, I'd say, probably because back in my time, Tomek Poragis was one of the he's basically what you were in 2023, like
Yeah.
upcoming talent, and everyone thought he's gonna be
Yeah.
winning championships and being the
He was the top young
next,
driver.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, and
Yeah.
being the next big thing, and then he got there and just didn't do anything. That's pretty harsh to say, but like he said it to himself as well. Like he was just not good enough. I guess it felt to him, and then he kind of transitioned to the other side of the garage. And I mean, I've always said that I will never trust an engineer who has not driven himself. And you probably have the best engineer, I'd say, in that regard, because Tomek has been driving there himself as well. And
Yeah,
but how is the
I-
chemistry between you two?
I agree. To be honest, like it's so good to have a driver who was at the top end as well as your engineer. The chemistry is amazing. By the way, he's an amazing guy. He's very funny as well, very interesting guy, and yeah, we work very well together. He's very serious, of course. He does a lot of like planes and stuff, aeroplane stuff. So he's very clear with his communication, but. Yeah, it's great to have a driver like that because I feel like with a driver engineer, they know a lot more. I feel like, and it's not a lot of, there's some engineers out there who think they know a lot, but they don't really. And it's really good to have a driver engineer, especially a guy who's at the top end for a bit as well as a driver because he he knows that feeling that I'm in as well. And yeah, he was just perfect. He didn't make a single mistake all season, and that's exactly why Alpine got him.
Yeah, I mean, what's it like working with Ben Goldie as well? Because, I mean, I've known Ben for a huge amount of time. He was a team manager for Comrade Gaming, CRG, as they were known by the abbreviation. Used to take on the likes of Visceral Esports. They were the two top teams back in the day. And I was obviously CRG's commentator as well. So, obviously, I've worked under Ben in the past. He's had a lot of success in F1 sim racing in the past. Obviously, when Alpine, recruited him from Ferrari, it was quite a statement acquisition. So what's it like working for such an incredible character like Ben Goldie?
Yeah, Ben's an amazing guy. He does so much for me as well, especially. He's such an amazing guy, and I'm so thankful to have him. But he's so unique. He's a very unique person in our team because he's like a really big team leader for us and G2. That especially when we're all celebrating and this that we're all sometimes can maybe lose focus for the next race. He's always there to build that focus back for the next races. And of course he's won before, so winning of course is just norm to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he always brings back that team back into obviously the zone, and he's such an amazing manager to have because when you have someone like that who's always supporting you, happy when you win, but also makes you focused when you need to be, is an amazing part of our success this year.
Is the basic structure of the team going to remain the same for next season, Otis? Are you able to give us an exclusive on that?
I have no idea.
No idea. Oh,
Maybe.
We've been debating driver markets, a little bit over the last few episodes. I mean, Ryan, we were saying, it doesn't look likely that Alpine will change too much, but
Yeah.
Is there a chance that we could see some changes, Otis? Do you think?
I don't know. I'm not the right person to ask. I think, to be honest, if it's my opinion, I think we haven't done anything wrong this year, so I doubt we change.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I will say like that team is enough to win constructors next year easily. So no point changing.
100%.
Definitely.
No, I agree with that. Well, we have broken things down from start to finish. It's now time for the community to get involved. We have had some questions sent in from the Sim1 faithful. Isn't that right, Ryan? We've had quite a few come in. I think what we'll do, we'll alternate them because, Ryan, you very aptly screenshotted them all for us. So we could probably take it from the top and ask one each, couldn't we, I suppose? And go right down the list. I'll kick off with the one I can see at the top, which is Matt Copsey 97, who actually asks, and we probably would have discussed a lot of these before, but for the benefit of those that have sent in the questions, I think we can touch on it again. Matt Copsey 97 asks, was there a point you realised you could actually make it all the way to esports?
Yeah, I kind of, to be honest, it was before I even started League Racing. It was around 2020 or so. I knew I was good enough. I started really getting pretty good at the games back then, even though I wasn't obviously top level, but I was improving so much every game cycle. And there's a point where I knew I could get to esports, and the goal at the time was obviously esports. The goal was in 2020 that I wanted to get esports, and when I had that esports seat in 25, it was such an amazing feeling because when I was young, I wanted it so badly, and to finally get it was amazing. And it was just a constant trend of improvement, which made me think that I was going to get it.
Yeah, so this one is from Alex Journalist Vlogs. He says, what does it mean to you to be the first Welsh esports champion?
Emphasis on Welsh.
It feels amazing. Especially, I think every country in the UK has got a championship now. Or maybe Northern Ireland doesn't.
Apart from Northern Ireland, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
but in the mainland,
on this island, yeah.
yeah.
everyone has it. It's a cool feeling because we don't have that much success, to be honest, around. So I hope people enjoy the success that we have in esports from now on.
It's a shame, really, that Lucas's surname starts with a B. You know, shame he's not Lucas Lakely. Then we could have said that all of them began with the letter L in their surname. But yeah,
no way! Oh my god, yeah,
yeah, because it's Brendan Lee.
I mean, they've all got an L somewhere, so
Lee, Lawrence, and Lakely. So there we go. Tino, you can have the next one. I think actually Timbo's got a question, which.
I think this is kind of inside joke or something. In the team, but...
We can ignore that one if you want. That's fine. You ask what you want to ask, Tino. You go for it.
I mean, it's kind of similar to the. Should we just go through the Timbos?
Yeah.
Yeah, we might as well.
Yeah. I mean, okay. So as it goes as Otis, can you continue this sentence? To be honest, looking at ...
I don't even know how am I meant to reply to that.
I want to know what that's all about. What is that all about?
Is this like inside joke or something?
Inside joke in the team, you know. You guys won't understand.
Exactly.
I'd rather not say it.
He's gonna get in trouble.
That's every team has every team has something like this. I remember in Red Bull times we just had the funny jokes the whole year, and
well, you got to get through the year somehow, Tino.
Yes. I mean, it's a long year. We practice with teammates for 10 hours a day or something around. So it has to be some banter sometimes,
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a good sign if you've got camaraderie. It means the chemistry's good. So that's always good. But do you want to ask a different one, Tino? Would you like to ask the next one?
Yeah, the next one at least makes kind of sense. Favorite track and why? I mean, I know already what this is, but
yeah. But for the audience,
I mean. It's a hard question though. Like
it's
I
Saudi,
used to
right?
have one of my favorites, but I got a few favorites. That's the thing. Like I like Silverstone a lot. I like Spa. I like Saudi. There's many tracks I like. I like Brazil a lot now as well. I used to dislike it, but I think it's just the tracks that I do well at. To be honest, I like.
I was going to say the ones you've won at, surely.
Yeah, the ones I've won at. Japan is great.
I'd imagine Saudi Arabia's got to be up there, right? After going
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Doing what you've done there. Obviously, your first ever win. So
yeah. Silverstone, Saudi, Kota, all my merchant tracks. I love them so much. They just really suit my driving style. I've always been strong at them as well throughout the years, so I just enjoy them a lot.
Well, we do have another question, one more from the list, from Jacob Meyer, who I actually think is part of the Alpine Discord, and he actually does a lot of moderate work. So he's gone, Otis, how do you see future seasons with Alpine? Do you have any expectations for next season?
I see them really strong, to be honest. This team is just so amazing. I don't even think this is the end for it yet. I think this is just the start of our journey, and I believe that after I'm done with this team, I think we'll be very successful. And to be honest, what was the second part of the question? I can't even remember.
Do you have any expectations for next season?
Of course, it's always the same. No different to last 2 years that I've been in this series. Is just to win the championship. That's the only expectation, really. Maybe we can try and win the constructors. We were a bit, to be honest. If I'm being totally honest, I didn't really think we were going to win the constructors. But I really surprised myself going into the season that Red Bull is not perfect as well. So if we can really steal momentum from other teams, you can really use that to your advantage, because I feel like we're mentally stronger than every other team on the grid.
Yeah, well, can't say further than that. And in fact, we've just hit the hour mark. Incredible timing. At the end of the day, Otis, big thank you for joining us. Our first ever guest on the Sim1 podcast. Any final thoughts from you, though, Otis? Anything you want to say to the public that are tuning in after this?
I hope everyone enjoyed the podcast. I appreciate you all bringing me on. Thank you all for whoever's watching this, supporting me. You're all amazing people. Even if you don't like me, thank you for making me stronger. And appreciate you guys bringing me onto the show as well.
Where can they find you, Otis? Where can they find you online? Where's your social path? I have put it underneath, but just for the benefit of everyone.
They can find me on Instagram, OtisLawrence45. They can find me on Twitter, FRA_Elite45. Find me on Twitch as well, Otis Lawrence. Just find me, just search me up, and I'll be there.
There we are. Well, there he is, folks. The reigning champion, the new world champion in the F1 Sim Racing space. You can also find us as well, folks, at Sim1_podcast as well. Be sure to stay tuned. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching or listening on Spotify, I should say, be sure to follow and stay up to date with all future releases. If you enjoyed the podcast as well, you can check us out as presenters as well. Kicking things off with Tino now, Karunen. Tino, where can they find you?
Instagram and Twitter, my name, and for a year still I have something what Otis doesn't have, and it's Constructors Championship. But
that's a
Eagles
little
coming
kick.
out.
Who did you win that with, Tino? Remind us all.
Red Bull.
Well, there you go. The Red Bull rivalry reigns strong.
Just my name.
Tino, we're going to have to 1v1, bro, in this game. No joke.
Yeah, Tino's up for that. Aren't you, Tino?
Maybe.
Ryan, where can they find you, my man?
Oh god, it's just Ryan99, but with a load of underscores in between each name. So yeah.
Yeah, they are just below if you want to find them as well, folks. You can find me at George Morgan TV on Twitter, Instagram, and of course TikTok, folks. We're absolutely everywhere. But that is it. What a show. A bumper episode. And for the first time, a guest, and what a guest as well. Be sure to stay tuned for future releases of this podcast. But from all of us here, it's Sim1. It's goodbye.